Imagine a world of shimmering seas and sun-drenched islands. This was ancient Greece in the 5th century BCE, a civilization on the brink of greatness, yet teetering on the precipice of a conflict that would shake its foundations. The Aegean Sea, a sparkling jewel in the heart of this world, was not just a picturesque backdrop, but a vital artery connecting these city-states. Yet, beneath the surface of this vibrant world, tensions simmered. Athens, with its powerful navy and democratic ideals, emerged from the Persian Wars as a dominant force, leading the Delian League, a coalition formed to safeguard Greece from future threats. In the Peloponnese stood Sparta, a city-state as different from Athens as night from day. While Athens embraced democracy and the arts, Sparta was a militaristic society, its citizens trained from birth to be warriors. Sparta, wary of Athens' growing influence, saw the Delian League as a threat to its own power. What began as an alliance for mutual protection gradually morphed into an Athenian empire. Resentment simmered, and Sparta became the focal point of resistance against Athenian dominance. Before the epic clash between Athens and Sparta, a common enemy had united the Greeks, the Persian Empire. Athens, with its formidable navy, had played a pivotal role in repelling the Persian invaders. The victory against Persia, however, came at a cost. Athens began to use its position to further its own interests, demanding tribute from member states and intervening in their internal affairs. Sparta observed the growing power of Athens with increasing unease. The Delian League, initially formed to safeguard Greek independence, was gradually transformed into an instrument of Athenian power. Athenian merchants and settlers spread throughout the Aegean, and Athenian warships patrolled the sea lanes. Sparta, wary of Athenian ambitions, began to see Athens as a threat that needed to be contained. The simmering tensions between Athens and Sparta finally boiled over in the mid-5th century BCE. One of the key flashpoints was the Megarian Decree, a set of economic sanctions imposed by Athens on Megara. Corinth, another powerful city-state, also felt threatened by Athenian expansionism. The final straw came in 432 BCE with the outbreak of the Potidæan Revolt. The Spartans, seeing an opportunity to check Athenian power, responded by declaring war on Athens. The declaration of war in 431 BCE unleashed the dogs of war upon Greece. Sparta, with its legendary army, adopted a strategy that played to its strengths. The Spartan strategy was brutally simple. Invade Attica, lay waste to its fields, and force the Athenians into a decisive land battle. Year after year, the Spartans and their Peloponnesian allies marched into Attica, their presence a terrifying spectacle for the Athenian citizens. The Spartans aimed to break the Athenian spirit. Athens, facing the Spartan onslaught, adopted a radically different strategy, masterminded by their leader Pericles. Pericles urged his fellow citizens to pursue a strategy of attrition, a war of patience and endurance. The long walls ensured that the city could not be starved into submission. Athens' navy would maintain supply lines and project Athenian power across the Aegean. Pericles' plan was a gamble, demanding patience and discipline. The early years of the Peloponnesian War were a testament to the effectiveness of both Athenian and Spartan strategies. However, fate intervened in a most unexpected and horrific way. In 430 BCE, a devastating plague swept through Athens. Thousands perished, including Pericles himself. The loss of their leader was a severe blow to Athenian morale. The war dragged on, a bloody stalemate that seemed to offer no end in sight. As the Peloponnesian War entered its second decade, a sense of weariness and frustration settled over both Athens and Sparta. It was in this context that the idea of a Sicilian expedition began to take hold in Athens. Sicily, home to several prosperous Greek colonies, posed a potential threat to Athenian interests. The proponents of a Sicilian expedition argued that it offered a unique opportunity to break the deadlock of the war. By conquering Syracuse, Athens could strike a decisive blow against Sparta. In 415 BCE, the Athenian assembly voted to send a massive expeditionary force to Sicily. The expedition was plagued by problems from the outset. Alcibiades, accused of sacrilege, defected to Sparta. With Alcibiades gone, the command fell to Nicias, who allowed the Syracusans to strengthen their defenses. The Athenian expedition was doomed from the start. The siege of Syracuse became a protracted and bloody affair. Nicias sent increasingly desperate pleas for reinforcements to Athens. The Athenian assembly voted to send additional ships and troops to Sicily. However, this final gamble proved to be disastrous. The defeat at Syracuse was a catastrophe for Athens, a turning point in the Peloponnesian War. Sparta's Persian alliance. The disaster at Syracuse sent shockwaves throughout the Greek world. Athens lay wounded, its resources depleted. Sparta sought the support of the Persian Empire, Athens' ancient enemy. The Spartans appealed to their common enemy for aid. The Persians saw an opportunity to weaken Athens. A deal was struck, sealed with Persian gold. The infusion of Persian gold was a game-changer. Sparta now had the resources to build a fleet. Spartan shipyards hummed with activity, launching triremes into the Aegean. Section 2. The Decelean War, striking at the heart of Attica. With their newfound naval power, the Spartans, under the guidance of the ambitious and cunning general Lysander, adopted a strategy that exploited Athens' vulnerabilities. They established a permanent base at Deceleia, a strategic location in Attica, within sight of the Athenian Acropolis. The occupation of Deceleia was a masterstroke, a constant thorn in Athens' side. The Decelean War, as this phase of the conflict became known, marked a turning point in the Peloponnesian War. No longer content with seasonal raids into Attica, the Spartans now maintained a year-round presence, disrupting Athenian agriculture, trade, and communication. The silver mines at Laurium, a vital source of revenue for Athens, were cut off, dealing a crippling blow to the Athenian economy. The Athenian people, already weary from years of war and the lingering effects of the plague, faced increasing hardship. Food shortages became commonplace, prices soared, and the once bustling city acquired a hollow, haunted atmosphere. The Spartans, emboldened by their successes, pressed their advantage, their ships raiding Athenian colonies and trade routes, further tightening the noose around Athens' neck. Section 3. The Walls Come Down, the Fall of Athens. The final act of the Peloponnesian War played out on the Aegean Sea, where the fate of Athens would be decided. In 405 BCE, the Spartan fleet under Lysander lay in wait for the Athenian fleet near Aegospotami. The Athenians were caught off guard, and the Battle of Aegospotami was a disaster for Athens. The Athenian fleet was virtually annihilated. With its navy destroyed, Athens faced starvation. In 404 BCE, Athens surrendered. The long walls were torn down to the sound of Spartan flutes. Athens was stripped of its empire, its influence shattered. The Peloponnesian War was over, and Sparta was victorious. Section 1. The Spartan Hegemony, a Pyrrhic Victory. Sparta, the victor in the Peloponnesian War, stood triumphant over a defeated Athens. The long walls lay in ruins, a testament to Sparta's military might, and Athens' fall from grace. Yet victory is a fickle mistress, and for Sparta, it would prove to be a double-edged sword. The Spartans, eager to reshape the Greek world in their image, imposed oligarchies in many city-states, replacing democratic governments with pro-Spartan regimes. This heavy-handed approach, however, bred resentment and instability. The very allies who had fought alongside Sparta, envious of its newfound power and chafing under its control, began to question its dominance. The Spartan system, designed for a warrior society, proved ill-suited for managing an empire. Their rigid social structure, their emphasis on military discipline over diplomacy and statecraft, and their fear of Athenian resurgence led them to make enemies of former allies. The seeds of discontent, sown in the ashes of Athenian defeat, would soon sprout into new conflicts, undermining Sparta's grip on power. Section 2. The Scars of War, a Fractured Greece. The Peloponnesian War left deep scars on the Greek world, wounds that would fester for generations. The war had consumed lives and resources, leaving many city-states depleted and vulnerable. The conflict had also shattered the fragile unity of the Greek world, replacing it with suspicion, rivalry, and the constant threat of renewed conflict. The war had exposed the inherent instability of the Greek city-state system. The constant competition for resources, prestige, and power, exacerbated by the interference of external forces like Persia, created an environment where conflict was more common than cooperation. The Peloponnesian War, far from resolving these underlying tensions, had only intensified them. In the aftermath of the war, new alliances formed and dissolved with alarming speed. Sparta, unable to maintain its grip on power, faced challenges from resurgent rivals, including Thebes, Athens, and even Persia. The Greek world, once a beacon of cultural and intellectual achievement, descended into a period of internecine warfare, its energies consumed by internal strife rather than collective progress. Section 3. Echoes of Conflict. Lessons from the Peloponnesian War. The Peloponnesian War, though fought millennia ago, continues to resonate with chilling relevance in the modern world. The conflict, a clash of ideologies, ambitions, and fears, serves as a stark reminder of the enduring power of these forces to shape human history. The war highlights the dangers of unchecked ambition and the seductive allure of power. Athens, initially driven by a desire to protect itself and its allies, succumbed to the temptations of empire, alienating its partners and ultimately contributing to its own downfall. The conflict also underscores the importance of diplomacy, compromise, and the recognition of shared interests. The Peloponnesian War, a tragedy for all involved, might have been averted had the protagonists been willing to find common ground and resolve their differences through dialogue rather than bloodshed. The war's legacy, etched in the ruins of ancient cities and the pages of history, serves as a cautionary tale for leaders and citizens alike, a reminder of the enduring human capacity for both greatness and self-destruction. The Peloponnesian War's enduring significance. The dust has long settled on the battlefields of ancient Greece. The echoes of clashing bronze and anguished cries have faded into whispers of history. Yet, the Peloponnesian War continues to resonate with a power that transcends time. It stands as a reminder of the cyclical nature of history and the human capacity for greatness and self-destruction. The war's legacy is etched in the ruins of cities and the collective memory of Western civilization. It speaks to something fundamental about the human condition. Section 2. A timeless tale of hubris and ruin. Thucydides chronicled the war as a tragedy of epic proportions. He believed the war could have been avoided. The Athenians, blinded by hubris, sowed the seeds of their own destruction. The Spartans, too, were not without blame. Their fear and rigid adherence to tradition led to their undoing. Both sides were consumed by war, leaving Greece fractured. The Peloponnesian War serves as a cautionary tale for our times. The lessons of ancient Greece remain urgent today. Even the most powerful nations are not immune to division and strife. The pursuit of power, unchecked by wisdom, can lead to ruin. What price are we willing to pay for victory? These are the enduring questions posed by the Peloponnesian War.